Thank you so much for tuning into the Dearly Beloved podcast. I am your co-host, Raul Lopez.
I am Kenny Quadra.
Sorry, he's sipping on some yak right now.
I'm
and today
Kenny
we have
Quadra.
a very, very special guest, a friend of mine. He does not need no introduction. The one and only Arnold the Sommelier for the mommies.
Hey,
what's going on, bro?
What's up?
Thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you.
Nice to meet you formally.
Okay, so that's, yeah.
Unemployment.
Hey, unemployment. Yeah, it is the Dearly Beloved podcast, home of your quarantine content. So today, what we have is Arnold. He is a sommelier. He brought some goodies for us today. And what do we have here?
This is Memento Mori, a Napa Valley cab, very cult producer.
Can you keep
2016 vintage
2016 vintage. And what was it again?
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet Franc. Okay, so for those that don't really know about wine and they only drink Stella Rosa, can you explain this to them? Like, what is it?
So this is a very high quality
Ken.
producer. Gentleman that I know, it's 3 guys who did it, but the main guy I know, his name is Adam. He basically promotes the wine, definitely does pretty much what you do, loves to network. Enjoy. He sources everything. He's very smart, I feel, in the business practice that he chose. So he doesn't have a brick and mortar winery. Sources everything, has long-term contracts with people, but makes a very high-quality wine. This wine, I think, retails for like $220.
Is that in the way in the camera?
Thank you for giving me the most expensive wine I've ever tasted.
Can we move that, please? Thank you.
Here.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like most wines. This is why we have him on the podcast, so we can educate. You know what I'm saying?
Educate me.
Educate me, because somebody like
Let me
Kenny.
taste.
So, yeah. Sorry.
Who's not?
Yeah,
German?
whatever.
Okay.
No,
I'm
it don't
Corona
matter.
free.
So this is what we want. We want to educate whoever is listening on what wine is, why is it the way it is. Okay, I'm gonna start with this question. What is it like? Why? What is a sommelier?
All right. First off, sommelier is basically someone that supposedly has an expertise overall in beverage and beverage service in typically a restaurant setting or that sort of environment, even in retail. So we're, in short, wine experts, but we also know other things. I know some who are sake specialists or whiskey specialists. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
But anything that you could like educate the crowd, because I know for a
me.
fact I got into the biggest argument with somebody because I
Like
told
what?
him, I tried to tell him, look, the one thing about Latino people in general, because obviously I'm Latino, a lot of people they drink is Stella Rosa. So I tried telling this person, obviously I'm not talking about you, Amanda, but like I told this person, I was like, hey, like you don't always have to drink Stella Rosa. There's other wines out there. And before I could finish what I was saying, she kind of like took it as I was throwing jabs.
Yeah.
But like, dude, like you could literally get really good wine for $10, $12. It's just like you got to expand drinking Stella Rosa, which is basically bum juice, but you know.
So before I jump into that, that's a quality thing. So this bottle has been open for 5 days.
What does that mean?
So it shows, in my opinion, integrity of the fruit content. Okay. So that shows high quality fruit. So it remains intact more as it oxidizes slowly over the days. It still remains together in essence. Where the Stella Rosa, probably day 2 will probably taste like shit.
So what I got from that
no
is-
offense, it's just lower quality.
The day you open that, it will taste the same 5 days later.
It won't taste the same. It'll still evolve.
It oxidizes, so it
it'll
tastes
lose
a little
bit
different.
of fruit or
Okay.
round out, but it still doesn't taste like vinegar.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to say the same thing, but like, let's say like you cut an apple, right? And you come back the next day, what color is it going to
A
be?
little more brown.
And you're going to taste it. It's going to taste a little different, right? But it's the same apple. It's almost the same thing. But the thing is that, like, wine and alcohol dies out, or yeast and alcohol, right?
Well, the yeast is already dead, but the thing is that as wine oxidizes, it starts getting to the point where the acidity goes to vinegar, where this hasn't got there yet, which I'm very surprised for being open for 5 days. Again, it just shows how wines can be qualitatively measured based on quality and how long they last.
What is your favorite type of wine?
Oh, I love fucking Riesling. I don't like
Oh,
it that
definitely.
much.
So me and my girlfriend love Riesling, German Riesling
Yes.
specifically, because we eat a lot of spicy Thai food.
Yes.
Well, I eat a lot of spicy Thai food. We always got to order the spice on the side for her. But I'm sorry.
Fuego.
I'm not throwing jabs. But I really love German Rieslings. And one thing, I mean, I'm not a sommelier, but from what I know is that German Rieslings are a little more sweeter than most wines. It's a white wine. Mm-hmm. My favorite, not necessarily, right?
Yes.
Let me stop there. Stop me. Yes. Stop me when I'm wrong, because I'm not a professional.
So not necessarily, like everything that gets imported here, majority of it, yes, typically leans toward the sweeter side, but there's almost this renaissance of dry styles coming out of Germany and Austria. It's just people in my position, it's our responsibility to educate the consumer to be able to kind of drift them more towards a different palate, possibly.
Yeah, and so
it
like
takes time.
Thank you for that. But the range, and this just so people can know, Riesling is not a fucking $1,000 bottle. Like you could go to Lee's, you could go to Total Wine. There's Rieslings for $10, $7. Chateau de Michel. Like you could start off with that. But like I said, wine. Okay, let me ask you: does wine? Is it always better because it's expensive?
That's subjective. It's like everything. If you find value in Louis Vuitton, you're going to spend the money. If you find value in Ferrari, you're going to spend the money.
You mind if I add my 2 cents to that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. That's why you're here.
All right. So I appreciate you saying that because I'm a boxing coach. You could go to Floyd's gym and pay $300, but they're not going to teach you nothing. You got to be there. You got to be someone's nephew. You got to be somebody's cousin, something to get taught. You come over here, we're going to teach you because we want to teach you quality. I appreciate
quality
that.
and value. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
are you getting the maximum amount of money for what you're looking for in everything?
And then obviously, would you agree with this statement that wine is an experience?
Absolutely.
And you pay for the experience, correct?
When it comes to restaurants, hands down. That's, I think.
And what is the experience?
Preparation of glassware. If someone takes the time of actually going extra steps of maybe doing a pairing or exposing you to something different that you may have never had, like this. For instance.
I've never had this. That's why I asked. Yeah.
How do you feel about that wine?
I feel
like-
it tastes
Honest opinion, don't like sugarcoat anything. What do you feel?
Yeah.
For it, so somebody that hasn't drank one, I've drank something like this before. It's really
I
good.
kind of know what has possibly happened to it because there's a certain note that sticks out. But
What do you feel?
As a Douce connoisseur, this tastes, and as someone who is Spanish and only drinks Stella Rosa, to me that's the peak of like quality. This is better, and this doesn't have like a sour taste that makes my face change.
yeah,
It's just okay.
And honestly,
Like, okay, as in like, oh yeah, it's going.
And, okay, so what do you call those little drippings that are coming out of the side of the
so that would be tears or
legs, right?
legs, but what we technically call it,
What?
Lewis, viscosity.
Okay, so when people swirl it around, are they just being dickheads, or why are they swirling around? This is what we want people to know. This is what we want people to know.
So to be honest, I feel yes, but the thing
Yeah.
is,
So like, what do they look for when somebody swirls it, smells it?
So
you know?
this for me, it's multiple things because for me, I look at it from a technical aspect of my profession, not of just as a consumer point of view.
Right.
So consumer point of view may be different for me. I look at it as I'm watching it, it's determining
You see it, Kenny?
how much color saturation is in it, could determine also alcohol content, how thick the tears are, or sugar content.
So
if
people
it's a
aren't
white
dickheads
label.
just doing this because they look cool, right?
No, some people are, but the other thing is that you're coating it is because you're adding more surface area to the actual liquid to the glass, so it releases more aromas.
More scent, right?
Yes, so you get a higher aromatic.
Funny
quality to
that
it.
we have a wine episode because when I was about 16, one of my very first jobs.
Smell it, because he swirled it on the glass, so you smell it more. And that's one of the big properties when you get a wine, like you want to get the smell, the
One of my
effervescence.
very first jobs was I would go to this convention. People would drink wine. They would swirl it. They would do some weird noises with their mouths, like, and then they would also like spit it into a bucket.
They spit into the bucket so they can get drunk.
No, and then no, right. But my job was to pick up that bucket.
Yeah,
So
it's
I would pick up
disgusting.
the bucket, and then they would tip me out. Yeah, it's disgusting, but money's money.
Yeah.
So I would pick up the bucket, and I would go dump it out, bring it back, get 20. At the end of the night, each person was giving me like 60 because they were faded.
Right.
Because
Yep.
they really just swirl it, huff it. They go like, hold on, let me pretend.
Go ahead.
They would spin it,
Hey,
smell it,
Pinky's out.
pinkies out, and then they would do something like that. They would really do something like that, like,
See, that's too much because how I would typically do it, most people don't even notice.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I learned. Obviously, I do.
Because the thing is, all you need is a little bit of air to go over the surface of the wine. Mm-hmm. It'll
Why?
give you a second layer of oxidation that allows the upper part of your nasal cavity to get more scent. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, as you're swallowing it, you can breathe out and breathe in to get secondary notes. But when you spit it, you don't get just the sensation of swallowing it. You get the sensation going back with all your taste buds going the other way. So you get a higher surface contact to your tongue. So you get higher notes. So you can detect more technically. Okay.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. It's all just oxygen. And the thing is that nose is, I think, 85% of our profession. Mm-hmm. If we can't smell anything, we can't taste anything. I'm sure you feel the same way in the kitchen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, I took some bougie classes online and some classes at UNLV, and I hang out with him all the time. So I'm not a wine expert, but I kind of know a little bit.
Now, and I don't know nothing. So if you want to get the perspectives, I almost told somebody to bring ice because I was trying to drink this cold. And this is a red wine, I guess.
Because you usually drink Stella Rosa cold.
But it was already chilled, so...
Yeah. I'm the person learning. Raul's the medium, and we have an expert right next to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
baby expert.
One thing that I learned a lot about wine is that when you're at UNLV, you have to like do like a capstone. In my case, I did UNLV. So we a lot of us, not just me, a lot of us came together and planned it, and we got a lot of wineries to come. Have you heard about it? UNLV?
Yeah, of course. Been there.
Weren't you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
Not this year, but I've been there, I think,
so,
three years prior.
With things like that, do you feel like there should be more of those? Or there is, we just don't know?
I think there is. It's more focused to my community, my area of the group. And the thing is that that's something that Lewis, which is my, I guess, associate with the wine cellar, right. # Spanish cellar.
I don't know if you guys haven't seen it though. We have a buddy, which is his associate, his business partner. That
we'll definitely leave those around here. No, we'll leave those in the front.
Well, these are pouring this, so you guys can take these home as well and use them. So.
Great. So
thank you, Spanish cellars. The quality is
Spanish
great.
cellars. What he does, he has underground wine cellar.
This is your business card,
and I think we're gonna have him on the podcast soon, so we won't speak too much on it, but we just want to give a little light. Wine cellars, and he has an underground wine cellar that opens mechanically, and that's all we would say. But as for wine cellars, why do people have wine cellars, or why are they important?
Storage is huge. The thing is that wine, for the longest time until I would say contemporary in the last 15, 20 years, aging was a bigger thing because of French wine dominated, I feel, the market and the way the philosophy of how winemaking was done until Napa Valley kind of came on board during the 80s and 90s. And they still made phenomenal aging wine. It's just had to compete against French, which is much better in my opinion. But the dynamic has changed where you can have wine like this, young, or you can age it where it has that ageability, and it shows in the glass.
So it's true when they say like the more aged it is, the better, or it just depends?
It depends. It's all subjective. I say... There's always this statistic that comes out. I'd say maybe 5% of wine that is produced is meant to age, just because there's so much of it made for
consumption
right within 3 to 5 years.
And this is why wines are more expensive sometimes, because like they make a really good batch, yes. and then like it gets put on hold for a bit, right? And then after a certain year, like a really great vintage would be like what I've seen, like, and this is exaggerating because I work in the industry. The most expensive wine bottle I've ever seen, I want to say it was like $80,000.
Jesus Christ,
this is quite close. It was I think the DRC 1998 was for $59,995.
Jesus.
Well, we sold like 2 at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Who gets the money?
The restaurant.
No, but like, does the producer get the?
Right,
so you sell a bottle for $50,000.
Describe that. Yeah.
So how do we get the bottle?
No, so let's say the person who made the bottle, at the end of the day, it sold for $50,000. How much does the person who created the actual bottle get?
Whatever the distributor paid for it to get it from the
so there's
winery,
or
if they bought it at auction.
They have wine auctions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people collect
it. It's hard here because we have a 3-tier system. So unless if you have a retail shop, you kind of really can't do that unless if you're an individual, but you're working with limited capital at that point.
Yeah, because there's a middleman. There has to be a middleman because, sorry, go ahead.
California, it's like if we ran the restaurant, I could go to auction technically with the money and buy at auction or buy from the distributor. But
so there's always a middleman regardless.
In Nevada state law, yes.
And why is that?
Why?
They just, I guess I never looked into it.
I kind of know a little bit, but the reason why is that when
it's price control mainly.
No, well, that and it used to be when alcohol was illegal. What era was that? The Prohibition. The government made it in Nevada Nevada. Like they have to be a 3-tier system: the producer, the distributor, and then the retailer. So the distributor obviously gets the wine from the producer, and then the distributor then distributes to retailers.
So like certain accounts.
So there's like a couple big retail. I don't want to mention. They're not paying me for this. I'm not going to mention.
So like my responsibility is to have appointments, taste with them, discover wines like this wine.
That's great. I actually am generally interested.
There's so much to it.
He only has a tasting room, so he's very limited in his production. I'd say his magnums of this is only 240 bottles that exist in the world. His 3 liters are.
So this is why 40. They get it so expensive. So because there's like limited.
There's limitations.
I would love to see that wine cellar. Because all I know, like for real, like when we drink, it's just like Hennessy, Douce.
We?
Well, me and the people I hang out with. I swear.
You French now, bro?
I've never heard people. I've never been around people who are like, "Hey, want to drink some wine?" I mean, this is great. This is great. Like for real.
But that's the thing, though. This is why we had to put them in the podcast, because what I want people to understand is that wine is not just a fucking facade. Like, there's a reason why there's a market, and there's people that are professionally paid to like educate and show us and give us an experience. So, like, one really good question that I have for you, Arnold, is what would you say is like a great experience when it comes to drinking wine, or and if not, like, what was your greatest experience?
And no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Wait, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for the first part, a great experience for someone like me. What can I tell a girl like, hey, I know a little bit something about this wine?
Oh, it's panty droppers, bro.
I know. So what? Give me a bar. Give me a bar. This is Chateau from 1922.
Nah, this is I mean, memento mori, it's Latin, it's remember to live, or like remember you're gonna die. So
that's a beautiful word.
The I think one of the partners, if I remember the story correctly, forgive me, Emily, believe he had cancer when they were in college. So the 3 of them, they were friends, or the 3 who actually own the winery now, they named it after this because even through all the hardships and all the shit that they went through, they still wanted to live their dreams out and just like live every day to the best of their ability.
That's amazing.
I hate to interrupt, but you need to spark that cigar, bro. It's just sitting there.
All right, fine. So, can I get an ashtray?
Do we have an ashtray?
You think it's hot in here?
Yeah,
we got an ashtray right here.
Okay.
Shout out to Barry's Boxing.
Shout out to our sponsor real quick. But yeah, man.
So, I'll jump into that. Let me light up the cigar really quick if you guys want to chat.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Kenny. So, what other questions do you have from my guy right here?
So look, someone that really genuinely from the bottom of their heart knows nothing about wine or doing fancy things at restaurants, put me on game. How can I go to a wine and be like, hey, let me get this specific bottle, and then the girl in front of me would be like, oh shit, he knows.
Most of the time, girls don't know though.
All right, I'm one of those girls that don't know.
Because all they know is Stella Rosa. I'm sorry, jabs. Pow, pow, pow.
So, with that, I don't know, man. Just
What do you say? What do you say?
Do say?
I don't know. I don't drink wine really when I go out, but I drink cocktails. But when I do, I mean, keep it light, keep it fun. Just look at it. Look at the price. If you really don't know, look at something. Don't look at the cheapest bottle. Look at somewhere in between. You're comfortable. Say if the cheapest bottle is 80, maybe 100, 120. If you want to shop price. If not, if you want to explore, you can do just Cab Sauv from Napa. If you want to be safe, you can do Pinot Noir from either Oregon or I like Russian River or Sonoma Coast. If not, you can go French.
These are different regions, by the way.
Okay, I didn't know that. What's the difference between red wine and clear wine?
White wine.
White wine, yeah.
What? Okay,
So in a winemaking aspect, the only thing is that skin contact. Grape juice technically is clear when it's squeezed.
Right.
What makes the pigments come out is skin contact or maceration. So they let red wine sit with the skins over a period of time.
Like the full grape, but they don't
yeah, with
press
the
it?
skin. They
With
let it
process.
ferment with the skin.
They press it enough where it breaks the skin, but it doesn't break the seed because that's astringent and it'll add a bitterness to the wine that you really don't want in there. So what they'll do is with the white wine to come out clear, they'll put very minimal skin contact and they'll press it off and transfer it to either a barrel or a different container and move the skins onto either the soil or do something else with them.
Okay, and they really step on them with their feet?
Old school style, yeah, but very few.
Not in
wineries do
2020?
that. No, very few.
That's a
wineries
good
do
question.
There's no different, like, oh, this tastes better because this girl stepped on it.
that. In Italy, maybe. I mean, ask them.
I mean, if
They're
you're
on
if you're
lockdown.
into that kind of stuff, you know.
If you want to step on my wine. No, that's a serious question because I mean, everyone's seen somebody step on grapes and they knew that the end process of that was wine.
Right.
Why it happened? I want to know that from you.
Yeah, no, I mean it is. Some people do it. Holdridge, which is a very small producer out of Healdsburg in Russian River Valley, he makes about 3,000 cases. He hires, I think, a female intern purposely to press the Pinot Noir grapes with their feet because he has 2-ton, not crates. They're basically great vessels to hold them while he macerates them and allows the skin to release the pigment. And to mix it up, he'll have his intern step on it.
Okay. I'm going to get some mangoes and I'm going to tell Amanda to step on them and I'm going to sell it to y'all.
No one's gonna want that, bro.
I bet.
All right, so being that my I got this actually. I tweeted earlier like, what questions would you want me to ask a sommelier? Because I'm about to do the podcast. I got one. I don't know what it means, but word for word, it might be wrong. But correct me if I'm wrong or this question is wrong. Why do people care when drinking red wine, and if it tastes leathery? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I have an idea of what they're probably asking, and maybe the word is
It burns, baby.
slightly weird. I think what they mean is a dryness to the wine.
Right.
So certain wines or certain varietals, depending on where they're grown, will show a certain characteristic of having a dried or leathery quality, or I call it dusty to it. So, oh no, that's a personal thing. I mean,
Yeah, no, I didn't know the question either.
Taste
I just
more.
kind of I kind of
Taste more.
promised her that I was gonna get this question out
That's
because I don't
completely
know what
fine.
it means.
completely fine. I mean, going back to Riesling, I guess to elaborate more, it's like Riesling, for instance. You have to find the style that you like because for me, they make it dry, sweet, old, young.
Right.
I've had stuff from 50s. I've had stuff now, very sweet, dry as shit, like in between.
Right.
And it's the same thing with almost every single wine. It's just the spectrum is a lot smaller, I feel.
Yeah.
So you just have to find something that you like.
Okay. And
How
then
does something feel dry if it's wet?
It basically, what it does is like if you shift this in your mouth, like actually move it along your cheeks, you'll feel almost like a tightening of your cheeks because the tannins are in essence drying out your mouth. And then on
have you
the
ever eaten a
corners-
grape and it's like bitter?
Yeah.
and then at the corners of your tongue, you'll probably feel acidity in your mouth, salivate. So if you want to actually just
Like when you
taste
brush
it
your
again.
teeth and drink some like orange juice?
Yeah.
Okay.
So taste it again and like really move it if you want to get bougie.
Shake, shake, shake.
And this
So
is
on
what-
the corner of my lips, I felt a little tingle. Is that what that's what you're
Like
talking about?
acidity.
Yeah.
Like it's like slight salivation of your mouth.
Right. Yeah.
That's acidity. So it counteracts the tannins. So
Is this a dry wine?
it is a dry wine because there is no actual sweetness to it. So anything that doesn't have residual sugar, actual perception of sweetness, is considered a dry wine.
Okay. So I be knowing.
Yeah, so like some of the stuff that just so people could kind of like know, just like beginner Riesling, since we're speaking about Riesling. Go to a Thai place, order some Dr. Lucin. Shout out Darian.
Yeah.
Why do you keep saying Thai and wine? Do they serve like wine
Thai?
at
Well, because
places?
Thai food, like if you go to like Thai restaurants, they have a lot of like wine
I don't. That's
programs.
what I'm asking. Yeah.
It just goes well. It's a perfect combination: spicy, sweet, acidity counteracts.
Yeah, when
it
you
goes
eat
with the
food, and
flavors.
that's why people eat food and drink a certain type of wine, because the wine will taste a little different when you eat something beforehand.
So to comment with that,
didn't know
we
that.
have two philosophies of, I guess, pairing. It's complementary or conflicting,
What is
or
conflicting?
or contrasting.
What does each mean?
So complementing is basically something that goes together. So, for instance, very classic would be oysters and champagne, or a very dry Chablis or dry white wine with oysters.
With my friends, we eat like just regular ass medium rare steak. What goes with that?
This would go great. I mean, I wouldn't spend $220. No offense, Adam. It's just I can afford that unemployment, but something like this would
Shout
be
out to
fucking
coronavirus.
great. Yep. Hashtag toilet paper.
Okay, no, the reason I ask is because I'm telling you, there's people like myself that don't even know what this is.
That's
at
fine.
all.
So this is just Cabernet Sauvignon. This is just red wine. Look for Malbec from Argentina if you want a good compromise to kind of step in, because I think that's a good entry level. Or you can just look for just basic ass wine and just start from there. I mean,
I'm done with Stella Rosa after I spoke to you, bro.
I hated wine before being a somm. I fell in love with Riesling, which is why I agree. That's how I got into it. So
How long have you been in this wine game?
we're in 2020, 7 years.
How does someone get like the knowledge? Like best advice to learn more about wine.
Keep tasting.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Turn it up.
Tasting. Yeah.
Keep tasting, keep learning. My philosophy is a little bit different than probably most. I like to travel a lot more. Thus far, I've been on 4 continents and 30 plus countries. I've tasted wine in probably 15 different wine regions, most of them in Europe.
Oh, so you got bitches.
Oh, I've been to Chateau Margaux. Hey.
Hey, so if you go to a restaurant, you should, when you talk to a somm, what questions should be asked?
Just how could I say? If you want to be adventurous, be like, look, this is what I'm having. This is my price range. Go.
Right.
In my opinion, a very good sommelier gets you what you want if you describe kind of what you're looking for, or if you just tell them, surprise me with something different. We'll pull something crazy out if you let us, and we'll explain why. And I guarantee it'll most likely go well if you have someone who's very well trained in that. Because at the end of the day, it's about the guest,
Right,
or the experience for that person.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
All right.
Always.
So how long does it take for you to be like, yeah, I'm a sommelier?
So there's technically no licensing, like
Right.
doctors,
The reason,
but so I went through the Quartermaster Sommeliers, which is an American institution that I think started in the 80s by a gentleman by the name of Fred Dame, who was the first master somm, I think in 69 here. And
how old was he at that time?
oh God, maybe 30s.
Okay. When would you be comfortable calling yourself a sommelier?
I think by my second year.
Okay.
Just
The
because
reason-
my knowledge I felt like was on par with where I was comfortable to speak knowledgeably about most wines of the world.
The only reason I ask is because I do boxing. I'm one of the head coaches here,
Yeah,
and I've been places where how old are you?
29.
I'm 25, so 4 year difference. All right, I've been places where I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm a coach. I've been doing this for 10. I started when I was 14. A month into being 14, I'm 25 now. I've been here every week every week. Point being, I started coaching when I was like 17, 18. And then I'm at the point now where I'll go places and tell them I'm a coach, and they'll be like, I've been doing this since longer than you were born. And assuming because wine is such an old art that you might hear the same story. So my reasoning behind that is like, I recently just started, I've been a coach for 5 years. I could tell you for a fact, I know what I'm saying and I'm doing for the past 4.
So you're basically asking, how do I contend with this idea of ageism in the concept of the professional world in someone potentially older or more experienced.
Correct.
In a condescending manner.
Condescending. Fucking exclamation point on condescending.
It doesn't faze me because I guess we're a little bit more foo-foo in my world.
What does that mean?
We're very, you see it. We're about glass. We're about wine. Yeah,
Bougie.
walking with a fucking
Bougie,
scarf.
beloved.
Nah, that's fresh, dog.
Hashtag Christy Norman.
That's fresh. I dig your vibe, bro.
It's just, how can I say this? It doesn't faze me. I encourage it because I guess I'm a just different person. But if you don't let outside things bother you, it's just whatever. You kind of have to just be comfortable where you're at and either press harder and gaining more knowledge about what you want to learn about. Like people question why I learned about sake when I worked at a steakhouse.
Right.
Just because.
And the reason I ask that is because let's say you're at a place, at a convention or something where there's other sommeliers and they're like, hey, what's your credentials? Because I've been in places where it's a lot of other boxing coaches or people that have to do with boxing. I'm a boxing judge too. I'm a level 2 boxing judge. And like I've been places and people are like, this is really people's favorite quote. I've been doing this longer than blah, 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 blah. And it's like, man, I'm here to do the same thing you're doing when you were my age. Why are you hating on me?
It's different because I guess I stand on my own because of my network, and at least in this city, I've been able to establish my network in a way where I feel people respect me enough to kind of give me my own space if necessary to have my own viewpoint. And a lot of people, I think, know me in this city where they don't press in that way because we're a very small community. So we interact with each other not just once a year, but throughout the month. So it's a little bit different interaction, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm pursuing different knowledge standpoints and different topics, not just wine. So
Can we close the door?
I guess at the end of the day, it's just you kind of have to stand on your own and just gain more knowledge if you feel uncomfortable. If not, just be comfortable where you're at.
I appreciate you saying that.
There's nothing wrong with if you don't want to pursue any more knowledge in that aspect and decide to gain something else.
I don't know how old wine is, but boxing is about 300 years old.
Wine dates back, I think, about 5,000 years, if not longer.
All right, so boxing, it's from the first Olympic, it was in it, but when it became documented, it's maybe like 300-400 years old. And
What about Gladiators?
Yeah, first Olympics. I said that earlier, right now. For the first Olympics, there was boxing, but then there was a skip period between like the year 1 and like 1700.
Jesus.
So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. So then yeah, that's actually I got what I wanted from you because you told me that just mind your own business. I'm here to learn. Keep it moving.
Yeah. So
if you want to, I mean, the world's your oyster at the end of the day. If you want to learn about something else outside of what, you're not limited to just your profession. I love what I do. It's just I love it for different reasons than just what other people may love it for.
That's why I asked that question because I could tell you love wine.
Yeah. Thank you.
if somebody were to be interested in becoming a sommelier, what's the first step?
If you have the accessibility of a wine professional that you have at your fingertips, seek them out. If not, find someone that's willing to teach you. If not, online alternative, Christy Norman via Instagram offers online, and the modules are phenomenal. They're very to the point, very digestible information. She put a lot of effort into her online class.
And where can you find that again?
Christy.Norman on Instagram.
You as well though, because I've learned all I know from wine. I've learned right now from you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but the thing is that the one thing that makes it easier to digest is to make it copyable in essence, where other people can understand it in a very easy format. I'm not there yet because I'm not in a teaching capacity, so I know how to. I've done it. It's just not my forte. I hate speaking in front of people sometimes. So.
Hey, we're in the same boat. If anything, I'm leading the charge in that boat.
But if not, just attach yourself to a wine professional. That's why I did. My first mentor, she taught me at Jasmine at Bellagio. It's funny. She's a female white woman working in a Chinese restaurant. So that's quite unusual first off.
So she definitely got the coronavirus.
Oh, possibly.
All right, so we're gonna end this podcast with where can people find you? What's your IG? What's your handles? Like, where can people find Arnold?
So I'll give mainly my travel one, which is chubby_cork. So that's really nothing to do with my wine profession. But if you ask me questions, whatever, I'm happy to answer. It's just I like to keep it neutral on that page, just mainly for my travel and just my wine purposes, and shout out people that I like.
Yeah. So you're a professional sommelier. So
Yes.
where can they find you there?
What do you mean?
Or would you not want to discuss where can they find you? Like where can they come to you and trust you picking out a wine?
Because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, hey, I need some wine. What's up?
Ask me on there. I'll answer personal things. Cool. It's just my page, that my content. I really just don't try and promote one thing or
right.
All right, so like in 2 months, I'm gonna really DM you. I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna go out with this girl. I'm trying to pull up with some wine. What's it gonna be?
If you're at dinner and you're in a fucking situation, excuse me for cursing.
Nah.
If you're in a situation and you have the list, you can DM me. I'll probably answer.
Let's do that.
All right,
He
thank
just
you so much.
911.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dearly Beloved podcast. I am your co-host, Cool Raul Fool, aka Raul, aka Puparino Papi.
And I'm Kenny Quadra, aka damn, he's still out of Twitter jail.
Hey, thank you so much,
Chubby
Arnold
Cork.
at Chubby_Cork. Thank you so much for joining us
Magnum
today.
King.
We
Thank you for
appreciate
coming, bro.
you, brother.
Thank you.